And on that note, Joseph arrives.
Ah, speak the devil.
Joseph's eyebrow will go up a little bit at that comment.
Speak his name and he shall come.
So, the short is I've got the names of the girls that went missing during that time frame that are most likely the girls that were in that wall.
Any idea who may have perpetrated the crime or anything like that? And while out saying this, Byron will place his just a manila folder with his scribbled notes on it on the table.
No, I haven't gotten that far yet. I just managed to collect the baseline of who's actually the victims. Haven't yet had a chance to narrow down who may be the perpetrator. Haven't even had a chance to really think about it, save for right there in the microfilm library.
Oh, so you made a trip down to the newspaper as well, huh?
Yeah,
It's a good bet.
Yeah, I imagine that police records are probably a little bit more difficult to get a hold of, and best place aside from that would be newspaper.
Well, I was just talking about my new ghoul and how it might be time for you all to meet him. He might be able to dig up some records if you want.
Joseph's eyes are probably a little bit hard at that comment.
And on that note, it's what we were discussing just before you came in, actually. David has two other prospects for ghouling, and we thought it might be good if we spread the ghouls around just for security reasons, in case something were to happen to one of us. And I'll let David talk about those other ghoul prospects if he doesn't mind, since he knows more about them than I do.
No, that's fine. And Byron has also expressed interest in possibly acquiring one of them. The two main candidates we have right now are a senior police dispatcher, John Worthing. He's got a long history of sending officers out to what sound like could be crank calls, and a pretty good track record for finding the weird ones that are nonetheless true. The other is a beat cop, very much a hard ass, graduated top of her class from the academy, and almost as well liked by her superiors as she is disliked by her peers. Are you interested in taking one of them?
Joseph will sigh and shrug, like, I don't know what to make of this.
If you're too busy right now, I can also line up someone else later once you've got more free time. I know that having a ghoul is a big responsibility, and I know that you invest a lot of time in yours.
Yeah, that said, the basics doesn't take very long. Well, I guess it's a matter of how long that would take. If I have, if it's a matter of choice, I think that out of any of us, I'd probably be the most suited to having an actual cop as a ghoul.
That's fair. And as a side note, I have my ghoul, a detective, a homicide detective, currently looking into the death of Mikhail Vargas to make sure that there wasn't any foul play, and helping to guide the patrols to keep our streets safe. It's not quite what it was under Vargas yet, but it's better than it was before.
Well, these cases are all just missing persons and cold cases at that. But maybe he could help with them. And Joseph will give you a list of names.
All right, David will take them all down in his little notebook and say, all right, if they're cold cases, there shouldn't be any real trouble having them be looked into, especially by a detective. I'll pass them on to him. Yeah, MapTool doesn't keep the formatting of new lines when you paste things, sadly.
There, that should be more breathable.
A Doris and a Dorothea.
Welcome to old people land.
Well, they would be old people by now.
I know, damn parents in the 50s naming their kids all sorts of crazy shit.
Alright, I'll have him look in on that. So, do you want me to give you the details for the beat cop, or do you want to save picking up a new ghoul for later? It's up to you.
No, might as well get everything done. You haven't actually approached her about anything at all, right?
No, I haven't. I was actually going to go scope her place out tonight to try and find a good avenue of approach. But I've got a feeling that you'll try and do things a little bit differently.
Probably.
Alright, David will write down her name, address, just the basic information he got on a piece of paper, and tear it out, hand it to Joseph.
Joseph will take it and then look around. Anything else?
Nothing I can think of right now. Oh, we may have made an enemy of a Ventrue.
Who?
A man named Gavin Andrews. You know that I was looking into getting a contact at City Hall, right?
I don't remember if you brought it up. I guess I didn't think it too major, too important. Oh, I remember you mentioning it way back when.
Right, yeah. I've been meeting him downtown at, it's actually kind of an interesting place, the Lucky Ace Bar, but
It actually
seems
is an interesting place. I would agree with that.
yeah, I mean, if you're into that sliding walls and foo-foo company, so it's not too bad. But the person I was looking to ghoul is actually a ghoul already for this Gavin Andrews, and we kind of had words night before last. I kind of lost my temper a little bit, so he definitely came out on top in that exchange. On the other side, last night I made a trip down to Elysium, and I did speak lightly on the matter with Valentine and actually one of the other Gabrielle, another childer, another one of the childer of Michaela. So I think it smoothed over a little bit, but not with Gavin himself, just with everyone at large. So there shouldn't be too much blowback.
And Byron had the good sense to inform me that he was a child of Michaela before I did something rash to remind him not to talk to our coterie like that.
Hey, I got a question, Sean.
Yes?
With Joseph's list of names, does he have any other details to go along with those names, like the date of disappearances, or perhaps, like in their case, dates of birth that were listed in the disappearance articles? What they were wearing, the pictures that he saw of them in the newspaper, maybe had them printed out. Does he have any of that along with the list of names, or is it just the names?
Not the pictures, but everything else. Every other note he can think of.
Alright, sorry for interrupting.
Alright, well, I should probably go see my ghoul before it gets past his bedtime. Oh, one last thing, Joseph. She's Catholic, in case that's important. I don't rightly know what denomination you are.
Non-denominational, but it's close enough.
So, you might be able to use that angle.
We'll give sort of like a half shrug.
And with that, Byron will also say, so on the subject of John Worthing, do you have an address or maybe a place he hangs out or something like that for him?
I actually have an address. I've got his place scoped out, and I've even got a nice, dark path back to somewhere that we could have some privacy with him.
Good deal. Yeah, tell me about that, and that should be more than enough. I should be able to almost just walk up and ring the doorbell early one night and get in that way.
And it's, the path is actually back to, well, I mean, if you're going to be using domination, it shouldn't really matter, should it?
As long as he's not a ghoul from some other Ventrue off in Manhattan, I shouldn't have too much trouble with it, no.
Ha. Alright, well, here's his address. And, I guess you'll be using the front door.
Yeah, any and all routes you have scoped would be appreciated, because sometimes the frontal approach is not the best approach. At least I've learned in recent interactions.
Alright, well, let's go over to the building and I'll kind of give you the rundown.
Sounds good. How about I come with you to visit with, oh, I've forgotten his name now, Farnsworth, whatever. And we can go from there then, unless you object. I just wanted to introduce myself mainly.
No, that's fine. I will introduce you to Detective Farnsworth. Do either of you want to come as well? I know that you might want to give him the details in person, Joseph.
It is just a list of the people. I mean, there's not a lot more I can add to it.
That's fine.
Other than the if you want the loadout on the we'll call it the Malkavian insight I have under the case, but I don't know if you even give a fuck about that one way or the other.
I was mostly thinking that I would get the case details for you. I don't know if Farnsworth's going to actually be able to actively investigate this one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, so it's just more information at this point.
Alright, then I guess I'll introduce you to him later. You, Marcus?
I think I just remembered something that I need to do. Byron, can I borrow Evelyn's car again? I need to go somewhere.
Sure, I think she keeps some spare keys here in the office. We don't even need to bother her, although her car's probably in her garage. She'll have to go get it. And with that, Byron will go upstairs, get the keys, and bring them back down.
Cool, I owe you one.
Yeah, don't worry. Just don't dent it and fill it back up. She probably won't even notice.
I need to get a fucking car.
Same here, man, same here.
Well, with that new nose, you can actually be seen in one.
Yeah. Yeah, I could. David gives a fairly genuine smile rather than taking it for the, sarcastic quip that it might have been.
It was just sort of a neutral joke.
Yeah, David's... I mean, he knows he's not any prettier right now, but he's still pretty pleased with getting to walk around in public. Alright, let's go, Byron.
All right.
With the keys in hand, Marcus will go to will walk on over to Evelyn's place and get the car, whatever he needs to do to get it.
Alright, that's not going to be problematic. He knows what it looks like. He can find it in the garage.
Yep.
And David will lead Byron on over to Farnsworth's.
Okay. And of Joseph?
Going to check out that cop.
Okay. Let's see here. We'll say that... Joseph will arrive at his locale first and just begin the process of poking about and doing investigation of whatever sort of locale she lives in. Go ahead and give me a perception plus larceny of difficulty 5, Sean. Yeah. In that case, it's pretty much similar as to how I described John Worthing's establishment. It's a middle-class apartment building. Doesn't appear to be any security cameras. No bars in the windows. Fire escape you're going to reach by the railing. There's 2 staircases. Buildings maybe 6 stories tall. Doors in particular seem to have, just acutely studying them, they have the normal knob lock, they have a deadbolt, and they have a chain as well. Her room is on, we'll say, 5th floor, 3rd door. Write all that down.
There, it's all written down. He's not going to do the same thing and end up accidentally breaking her mind. So he'll do the more direct approach and see if he can just get into her apartment.
Alright. Judging by what you know, it doesn't look like there is a light on inside her room right now. She might actually be working, or she might alternatively be sleeping, or she might be out. At by the time he finishes looking around, it's like 11:44 p.m.
Well, he'll essentially just try to open the door. Just
Okay.
probably locked.
It's locked. The chain is not on it, but and again, he doesn't think it is, simply because of his astute knowledge of door things. There's definitely the knob lock as well as the deadbolt.
That's a dexterity larceny to pick, right?
It would be for you as well. To get through the locks, though, we'd go ahead and say, I'd actually have you make 2 rolls. Dexterity plus Larceny 5 to get through the normal knob, and the Dexterity plus Larceny 7 to get through the deadbolt. Joseph cannot make it, even make it past the normal knob. He can try again, which each successive time adding +1 to the difficulty. So to get past the knob, it'd be difficulty 6. Alright, he unlocks the knob lock, but there's still the deadbolt remaining at difficulty 7. Joseph succeeds, spending quite some time, more than what he initially thought. Perhaps grumbling in frustration to himself, he manages to use, or perhaps, does Joseph carry a set of lockpicks on him?
No, I don't think that's listed on any of his normal stuff. I've been intending to add it to it, but I've just never found the time.
Oh, the difficulty level should be higher on that then. That was something that I thought that you just hide in. In that case, you'd have to improvise your lockpick somehow. Out of what?
There should be some kind of wire or something he can find.
You'll need something to provide tension to. Like a screwdriver or something with a handle that he can use to turn the lock.
Yeah, I'm trying to. The only way I've ever picked a lock is with a bump key. Well, it's not exactly a great neighborhood, right?
It's fairly reasonable enough.
There should be a dumpster nearby.
Yeah.
He'll dumpster die.
Okay.
Not
And
out the window.
with the numbers that you got, you had a 9 for the second roll and a 10 for the other. I'll go ahead and say that Joseph is able to eventually improvise his way past the locks. It just ends up taking a lot more time, and he has some refuse and detritus on him after his visitation to a dumpster.
Well, then he'll obfuscate and, he'll crack open the door, sort of let it swing open a little bit enough that he can get through, step back, obfuscate, and then go in.
Okay.
And he'll put on his gloves.
Alright. Joseph begins the process of looking around. Alright, we'll actually go ahead and focus on David and Byron now. As they arrive at the location which David had been hauling them to through. Actually, they don't have to skulk around in shadows, because fucking David Green doesn't have to hide anymore.
Yeah.
Time to party.
And while we walk, David will actually explain now. Because you're going to be looking into taking the dispatcher, he's almost certainly going to need to be the most clued in of all of the ghouls. We need to let him know what sort of things actually are out there so that he'll actually have a good idea when a call comes in whether or not he's dealing with something magical.
Right,
I assume you can handle a lot of that. You seem to have been given a lot of hand-me-down knowledge from your sire. A lot that the rest of us don't have.
Right. I learned a few things. My sire was hands-off about a lot of things, but you pick up things here and there, conversations between other kindred, that type of thing. Never mind. I wouldn't mind having at least you and probably the rest of them involved if we were going to start giving out details.
That's totally fine with me. I just want to make sure that you actually give them a full basic rundown. I don't know how much Evelyn knows about what we are and how we operate, for example, and I haven't quite given mine the full picture yet.
Yeah, Evelyn we've never really had a direct talk about all those things, but she's a smart girl. She's probably put two and two together, especially since I did offer to, in the future, if she wants it, to be embraced. So I had to discuss that a little bit. So she knows. She knows enough.
Well, fantastic. We'll probably also be giving the dispatcher the rundown on the sorts of things that we've already run into here so that he understands how real the situation is.
And I'll run this by you before we go in here, just in case you have an objection. My plan is after leaving here, I will just go by his house, and there's not going to be much finesse to it. I'm just going to force him to drink some of my blood, then I'm going to mind wipe him and come back another night when he'll be more impressionable and more disposed to listen to me.
That sounds like it could be a good idea, but make sure he brushes his teeth afterwards. My ghoul decided to run away after the first feeding because he woke up with a red mouth.
Fair point. Fair point. I will definitely keep that in mind. I hadn't even thought of the hygiene afterwards.
Yeah, I want to try and eliminate as much evidence that anything happened as possible. Maybe even bring along a disposable toothbrush so that he doesn't wake up with his stained.
Yeah, I'm thinking buy some mouthwash and have him swish afterwards. That should be hopefully good enough.
Good plan. We'll swing by a convenience store on the way there.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
And then David will lead him on up to Farnsworth's apartment and knock on the door.
Okay. There's a pause after the knock, which says, all right, I'm coming. Give your panties on." The door opens, and the gentleman on the other side opens the door and then blinks. Please, come in.
Of course, detective. And David will walk right in.
And Byron, again, he will follow and he will nod at, he'll wait for to be introduced by David if that comes up, but he'll nod as he goes in.
Well, the detective will nod politely back at Byron, but his eyes are definitely keeping themselves, for the most part, focused on David, who, despite looking a little different, the ghoul can easily tell that it is his regnant.
First of all, did you look into the Miguel Vargas situation?
Albert nods. I did. As far as I'm aware, Tox Green came back for the usual suspects. We ran it again, even though we obviously didn't want to pull his body back out. Just checked over the test. As far as we know, for everything that we normally check for, everything's fine, legit. His death, by all cases, appears to have been of natural causes.
All right, that corroborates with the investigation I did. Anyway, I wanted to introduce you to my associate, Byron Rand.
The detective nods, extends his hand. Pleased to meet you, Byron. Mr. Rand.
Nice to meet you. I've heard quite a bit about you. And it is good to meet you in person for the first time. And that's mainly my only business here. I just wanted you to be able to put a face with a name if the need ever arose.
Detective nods, a little unsure, and he looks back to David.
In the event that I'm kept occupied for some reason for an extended period of time, He's one of the 3 people that you can reliably interact with. He's part of my inner circle, so to speak.
I see, I see. Is there a means by which I need to get in contact with this inner circle, then?
Well, Byron, I'll leave it up to you whether or not you want to give him means to contact you or means to contact Evelyn.
Sure. With that, Byron will give both his cell phone number and the number to Astoria Realty. He will not give Evelyn's cell phone, although it's just something. I just don't think he would do that right away.
Okay. The detective, for his part, pulls a convenient notepad out and makes sure to jot the numbers down, along with the various, what the numbers actually attach to.
Our main cash flow comes from Astoria Realty. We don't run any sort of crime at all within Astoria. And the person that you'll be interacting with, if at all, within Astoria Estates is the owner, Evelyn O'Malley.
Nods with that. Jots that down as well, Evelyn O'Malley.
Following the tips that you gave us, one of our members is, I believe, currently going to go talk to Espada. And later this evening, Byron here will be introducing himself to Worthing. Assuming all goes well, you'll be able to interact openly with them about what's going on behind the scenes.
He nods along with that. Again, one of those, unsure things, but, yeah, okay.
Right, I mean, I haven't clued him in entirely on to what all this is, but I'm trying to steadily educate him. Now, we're currently investigating a cold case. Very cold. Decades ago, a bunch of children disappeared. I have their names, and I was wondering if you'd be able to get a copy of the cold files on them to me.
He nods, says, sure, if I'm able to get a hold of them at all, it could take a few days, if they're even still in existence. I should be able to find them if you hand me the names, and I'll let you know if anything turns up on that front.
David will hand him that piece of paper and say, now, there's no enormous rush on this. I'd rather be done right than done fast.
Says, if the main determinant will actually be whether the paperwork and documents for these can be found at all, what are they related to? Are these homicide victims?
As far as I know, they were listed as disappearances, but we may have found their remains.
He frowns at that, missing persons. So little paperwork on that front is kept. I'll see what I can do.
I understand, and it was decades ago, so there's no accounting for even how much they might have taken back then. If there's anything, try and get a copy to me. If there's not, I'll understand.
Will do.
And on a side note, I'm sure you've put 2 and 2 together by now that I was doing some work with Vargas before his death.
He nods slowly along with that.
If there's any help you need with a case that needs to be off the books, let me know. I'll see what I can do. I would consult with Vargas sometimes, and I don't have to follow search warrants.
I'll see what I can do on that front. Was there... sort of shifts his eyes from the... Was there any sort of intent on having me promoted to the unfilled position of Deputy Inspector?
It was definitely discussed, but we're not sure yet how feasible that's going to be. Do you have any recommendations for someone else to put there who's sympathetic? If you don't want that sort of responsibility?
So, Albert shakes his head. Other than Roy, but Roy was such a good cop, he just retired out of the blue like that. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. Not that I know, or that I would trust to fill the position. They're likely going to end up bringing someone outside of the precinct completely to fill it.
Yeah, I understand that. Keep me updated if they end up picking someone. You'll probably find out a little bit before I do.
He nods. Will do.
Seems like I'm loading you up with things to do, but if you hear about a cop that gets put in the hospital, let me know. They might be another person that we take in. I haven't mentioned it yet, but what I did to you, it can help heal people.
He looks a little more stunned than what his usual expression would end up denoting. This whole ghoulification process has definitely turned his life around. He's still not quite sure what he makes of it.
Right. And David hasn't explained the whole thing to him yet, obviously. And noting that expression, David will actually say, tell you what, is there an evening that you're going to be free sometime when I don't have to just drop in on you? I'll explain to the best of my ability what I've done to you and answer any questions you've got.
He shrugs. What evening's best for you?
My schedule tends to be erratic. Is just any night fine?
He chuckles. Mine does as well.
Alright, well, I'll try to stop in sometime soon then. I think that's everything. I'll see you later.
He nods vigorously at that and says, I'll keep a close eye on things. If I do find anything, I'll let you know. It was good to meet you, Byron. He extends his hand again.
Byron will shake it and give a perfunctory nod and say, nice meeting you too. And they'll leave.
Have a nice evening, Detective. And David will step out too.
You too, sir.
And once they get...
The ghoul
Once
will
the
close
train
the door
passes,
behind you. I know, for fuck's sakes. I'm trying to play games on the internet, Trey. The detective will close his door behind you, casting, a long look at David before he does so.
Once they're clear of the house, Byron will turn to David and say, yeah, I see what you mean. He has... looks like he has some holes, and he's not too sure about his situation.
No, and after he woke up with that red mouth, he disappeared for a few days. That's where I was when I went off the radar. I was tracking him down.
Right. With that in mind, actually, it might not be a bad idea if you waited outside while I went in and spoke with John Worthing in case, I don't know, shit hits the fan, as seems to happen a lot occasionally with us.
Sure, I can handle that.
Because I should be just in and out. It should not take more than 20, 30 minutes. I'm just going to go in there, use a power to charm myself in the door, and once I get in there, force him to drink. And then the worst case is that somehow he freaks out and he needs to be restrained, and that'd be the main thing that you need to be there for.
All right, so do you want me to wait outside the door, or do you want me to wait outside the window on the fire escape?
whichever you think is would give you the best entry to the place if shit hits the fan. You know the layout better than I do.
If he locks the door, I would have to kick the door down to get in. Window, I would have to break in unless you unlatch it. Either way, noise will probably be made unless you can clear my path in.
Right, exactly. I would say probably the door, because if he's going to run out of the house at all, which is the main fear for me anyway, he'll probably go out through the door. Normally people don't jump through windows, but then again, people usually aren't force-fed blood either. So I don't know. Door, I would say.
All right, I'll lurk in the hallway outside the door then.
Sounds good.
This time next week, hopefully you'll have explained things to him well enough that we'll have the cops even more back to their old routine under Vargas.
I would hope so. This night is the most difficult. After this, he should be, easier to deal with. And just out of character, I'm assuming we're going with the actual rules on this one, where 1 blood point per meeting.
Definitely. Byron would know for the best, sort of like stability purposes. You can only advance the blood bond by 1 stage per night.
Right. So yeah, it should get easier as it goes along. This is the most risky, just for running purposes. And with that, I need to take a quick break. So I don't know if you want to go to Sean or just take a break.
I'll be going to Sean. Joseph learns that very quickly that the individual Espada is not within her apartment, which made sense with the light being off and the chain not being on, and also the information around seems to fit with what David provided about the beat cop. End up finding, a photo taken at the police academy, graduation class, other sorts of medals, commendations he received for marksmanship, bookcase, photos of her parents, stuff like that.
No signs of anyone else using the apartment?
Nope, just her, apparently.
Well, this is awkward. I don't think I can lace her food without her realizing it.
That was actually what I was thinking the first time I went into the detective's place.
Yeah, her milk suddenly being a solid red probably is not going to make her want to drink it.
I mean, once they taste it, it's vitae, so they'd keep going, but the trick is not fucking up the food or drink in the first place enough that they avoid it.
Well, fuck. I'll go ahead and, well, I could just stay in there for a while. I'll go ahead and close the door, lock it, and just stay in there, obfuscated.
Okay.
You know what? Before that, I think Joseph would give David a call.
All right. Certainly fine.
Ring ring.
Would David like to communicate with Joseph as his phone vibrates? Or are you distracted at the moment, Aaron?
Oh, sorry, I was a little bit distracted. What was that?
Joseph is
calling
calling
David.
David.
Alright, David will answer the phone. Green.
Hey, you know about Marcus going to see this, I guess, necromancer guy?
Yeah, I don't have too many details on it. Why? He, all he said was that the guy lived in Yonkers, and that he wasn't a Giovanni.
He gave me a weird feeling when he was asking to borrow my car. He didn't seem to want me to go along with him up there.
I mean, it could just be that the guy said that he needs to come alone, but I don't know. The impression that he gave me was that this guy might not even be kindred. There could be some weird traditions at work here.
Yeah, if it was just he needed to come alone, I'd understand, but he didn't tell me why. He just blew me off when I said I'd drive him up there. I'm not quite sure I'm so trusting as to whatever this guy may do. So,
I mean, when it comes to necromancy and ghosts, I'm not trusting of really anything, you know?
just not sure Marcus is thinking straight with this whole thing. About how to best actually deal with this without, you know, giving so much power to this guy and come down here and do what he wants in our domain.
That's fair. And he did supposedly get hit by a doozy from that ghost, didn't he?
Yeah, that ghost is, a little bit crazy.
So he might not be thinking too straight at all. I don't know. I'm not sure what we can do other than wait and see. But keep watching at least, right?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll watch and see if Marcus starts getting erratic.
Just not sure if it's best idea to give him all the information of this case when we get it. Not sure what exactly he'll do with it and what it may lead to.
That's fair. I was mostly planning on passing it on to you anyway. You seem to be the one actively pursuing it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Marcus is invested because of what happened to him, but yeah.
Yeah, between the four of us, you and I are, well, the only two that are really trained to do this.
And to be honest, I'm as long as the ghost situation is contained, I'm more interested in dealing with contemporary baddies than cold cases.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we were on the same page with that.
Yeah. How did your meeting with Espada go?
Hasn't gone anywhere yet. Been in her apartment, empty.
That's fair. I think that she works erratic shift schedules.
Yeah, I know what that's like. If there's, if you can think of some way best to do it, I'm not exactly sure the best way of going about this. I never had to worry about that with my ghouls.
That's fair. I chloroformed the detective while he was asleep and fed him some of my blood like a wounded animal. But he woke up with red teeth and Well, that's why I was off the radar for a while, tracking him down. I'm not sure if you'd want to follow in my footsteps on that.
Well, at least it gives me an idea. Anyways, thanks. I should be going soon.
Stay safe.
Bye. Click.
Click.
And, I can lock the doorknob behind me. I can't lock the deadbolt behind me.
That's correct.
I'll go ahead and lock the doorknob behind me and leave and look for... Where the fuck would I buy chloroform and a lockpick kit?
Well, we do know a guy that's got what you need.
Seems a little excessive to ask Match for that.
But he's got what you need.
I'm sure there's some shop dealing with people looking for things to help with their dates.
Sure, just go into the pharmacy and say, I need some date rape drugs. Is that cool?
Joseph, will quickly sort of realize that this is not actually something he can purchase. Like pure chloroform can only be bought with a certified medical practitioner's license, and even like you can get it over the counter, so like pharmacies could stock it. You'd still need a prescription for it, or in your case, you need to obfuscate into one of them little booths. Have you get into the sealed off medical areas and go searching for chloroform, and let me tell you how secure those places are going to be in the form of cameras. They'll know someone was in there.
I do show up on cameras afterwards, right? Even if I use...
Yes. The log will be there. If anyone ever bothers to check after the fact, they'll definitely see you there.
What about the third dot, the changing the face one?
You could use that to as far as I'm aware, that doesn't show on a camera either. It's just some sort of like manufactured illusional image.
Yeah, it's all of obfuscate's mental. Damn. Then I guess I've got to... I'll call it Match.
Alright. Well, get to fourth ring, and then you hear, "Hey, Joseph."
Hey, Match. Another strange request for you.
Oh man, you have no idea the tales I have heard. Lay it on me, chummer. What you need?
Wait, is this something Shadowrun?
That's exactly what I thought. A chloroform and a lock kit.
Chloroform ain't no problem. What kind of lockpicks you need?
Something I can preferably carry around in my pocket. Nothing like, nothing really fancy. Just, something that'll help me get through a door properly.
A thief's picks, not a locksmith's picks.
If you're looking for a basic set, that shouldn't be too much difficulty at all, but might as well get you some sort of competent ones in that front. As for the chloroform, that can run a little bit pricey, but that's no sweat. Perhaps after fees, proper instigating the process, a meeting thing, we could say about 350, and I can have it delivered to, say, EO Church, if that would be acceptable.
within a few hours. Probably be too late for you to do anything with him now. Unless you need him right now, I'd have to assign a little bit of an extra on that.
No, don't think it's gonna happen tonight anyways. So, drop him off whenever you can.
All right, I'll have one of my runners come by. Should be 4:30. You got the cash, you got what you need. Is that anything else, Joseph?
No, I think that's everything.
All right, you have yourself a good morning.
And he hangs up. And because apparently this is Shadowrun, he had to say null sweat instead of no sweat.
Well, at least he didn't quote me the price in New Yen.
It's true.
And with that, Joseph will make sure the door's locked behind him and head out.
All right. In which case, we end up arriving at Byron and David as they arrive at their next location.
Which is a convenience store in this case, because Byron is getting 2 bottles of mouthwash. One he is going to pour and rinse out, and he is going to go in the back bathroom and put a blood points worth in it. Just kind of preview that, and I'm hoping that'll fit at least in his jacket without looking too bulky. If not, he'll just have a bag and have it in it.
I mean, there are certainly far weirder things than a guy carrying around a bottle of mouthwash and a suit jacket, right?
Yes, I can confirm that.
But yeah, then they'll go by the house or apartment, or I don't even know where John Worthing lives. So
It's an apartment, I think.
Yep. As for the locale, as it turns out, in analyzing the situation, since David, of course, will naturally remember the apartment room that John Worthing lives in, the light is on. He is home.
Well, looks like we're going to be lucky. And David will duck into an alleyway and turn invisible for the first time in a couple nights. And follow Byron on up.
yeah, Byron will blush up and knock on the door.
All right. Each of you make a perception plus alertness at difficulty 7. And,
3 successes. Oh no,
difficulty
2.
7.
Difficulty 7.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And go ahead and make one as well, of course, Aaron, for David.
Just dexterity plus stealth?
No, you're making perception plus alertness.
Oh, fuck. Alright. And I don't think Trained Observer would apply here, would it?
Nah.
Although, does Auspex, 1 point done that, raise my alertness by 1? Or
No,
lower the
no.
difficulty by 1?
It's my acute senses that lowers the difficulty.
You would have
It-
the heightened senses active.
And having it active just means that he's supposed to give you other clues, not, it lowers difficulties.
It would decrease in difficulty, equal to your Auspex number, as if you have heightened senses active. But of course, in the process of you having it active, Marcus would have warned you, and you can experience it yourself. Sometimes bad things happen.
Right, that's fine. I wasn't sure on that, so that's fine. I'm not going to use heightened senses at all. I mean, if
It's a reflexive action to activate it. I naturally assume that people, say up to now, Marcus has been the only one who's ever used it. That's why I tend to pitch questions to him every now and then, like, do you have heightened senses active? Just to make sure.
right, I misread that part. So anyway, no problem. 2 successes.
Yeah, that Fred. You got 2. David got 3. You hear first thing after the knock. A few seconds pass. You hear that the audible sound of a gun being readied. And followed by footsteps as they head to the door with a call, "Who is it?"
What is Byron going to say? Um, hmm.
Open the fucking door, meat.
Yeah, basically, what I'm looking up is now I need to look up presence and see. It is just a, I mean, I'm wondering if I can use it through a door. I think I can. Yeah,
What are you
those
trying
near the vampire.
What are you trying to do through the door?
Presence 1. It just says those near the vampire suddenly desire to be closer to and become receptive to her point of view. So I just want to know if line of sight was needed, but I don't see that in the description. So he's going to awe, and he's going to try to say, I need to talk to you. It's urgent. Could you let me in? And that's the roll. Oh my God. God damn it.
You spent a blood point for that?
Yeah, for real. I haven't even taken the blood point off, but what a whack-ball roll.
I was busy still glossing over to check line of sight. I guess not. As long as you're audible, well, that's what Byron says. And response, the footsteps stop, and there's a pause, and then, "Who are you? If it's so urgent, I would certainly hope that you would actually divulge an identity. If you're thinking of anything, do keep in mind, please, I am a member of the 114th Precinct, law enforcement, police officer. So if you were hoping to attempt to commit any acts of burglary, and you failed to notice the light on whenever you were picking your mark, I would heartily encourage you to change your life occupation."
First of all, take a look through the peephole if you haven't already. I do not look like a burglar, do I? Secondly, I came to you precisely because I know you're a cop. I actually live in another apartment in the building, and I think my life is in danger, and I really would like to come in and talk to you about it. And with this, he's going to try to do charisma, or maybe no, manipulation plus empathy, I guess.
Subterfuge. You're lying.
Okay, subterfuge.
Manipulation, subterfuge. We're going to say difficulty 9. I'd like to really come in and talk to you about the fact that my life is...
Nope, no 9s.
Matter of fact, that is an outright
that's a botch.
Jesus Christ. Well, this is why I brought David along, really, because I thought this might happen.
Byron, in the process of attempting to sort of sweet talk his way through the door, and try to lie and manipulate, here's...
Of course, this would use the enchanting voice, because I am talking in this case.
It would.
So it's not actually I did succeed in that case, because it lowers it by 2.
It would lower it to 7, which case you didn't succeed.
Oh, that's right, so I have a 1. I have a 1. Yeah, okay, but at least it isn't a botch.
Byron, with thankfully the powers of his incredible voice that his player managed to remember to apply to his character. If you're not going to use a merit, you take, man. It's a long pause, it's like, Like, uh, long pause, perhaps, 8-10 seconds, and then, I would like to end this situation peacefully, so I suggest you have a good night elsewhere.
Yeah, Byron does not see a good way to go about this anymore, not without causing a ruckus. So he will say, all right, well, thanks. I guess I'll try to find help somewhere else. So, who knows? He's not going to try a roll on that. He's just playing it to the end. And he will walk down towards the stairwell, and hopefully David comes in because he's going to look around and make like he wants to say something.
Yeah, David will reemerge.
Man, I am batting 1,000 this week for my charm skills.
Yeah, are you sure you have a magic voice after all?
Let me get back to you on that. I don't know. I think it might be on the blank. I think what we have to do is wait for him to go to sleep. And did you see any cameras out there or anything?
No, I didn't.
All I can figure is pick our way in and restrain him, and I can mind wipe him after.
All right, and I think you mentioned something about Marcus teaching you to have those super senses.
I do have that.
Well, is there some way you could listen to make sure that he's actually asleep? He seems like a pretty alert and trigger-happy individual.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can do that. How close do I have to get to listen through the door with Auspex hearing them?
Listening through a door is going to be difficult to begin with. For heightened senses, it would just lower your difficulty by 1.
Right.
You'd still have to, depending on how loud or soft the sound is, it depends. If you're trying to listen to whether someone's asleep through a door, that's kind of like in the difficulty 10 range. Unless he snores loudly.
Right, and that would be the 10, that if he snores loud enough for me to hear it. I guess the only way to do it is that I'll listen up here. Maybe I'll be able to hear something like a light switch turn off or him brushing his teeth or whatever the heck. And maybe you, David, you can go outside and see if the lights go out in his apartment, and you can come up and tell me if that happens. And then if all else fails, we can just wait for an hour and then go in, or 30 minutes or whatever.
Byron definitely gets the sense that, especially since he may have unsettled the law enforcement individual, this could be a matter of patience to wait before the guy goes to sleep.
The more I think about it, he's probably going to be watching from his window to make sure that you've left. Might even be calling up some of his friends. Might be better to try this again a different night.
If I can get him out in the open, get eye contact with him, it'll go a lot easier. I really needed him to open the door, but he was to his credit, too careful for that. And honestly, if some dude's just going to open up the door to anybody, I'm not sure if we want to go like that anyway.
It's fair. He's cautious. I like that.
Exactly. But if we can get him, we can catch him out back. You said there was a place out back. That might be the easiest thing.
I did.
I thought you said there was a way around back or something. Maybe I misunderstood you. It doesn't. No.
There's a fire escape that would lead to his window.
Oh, is that what you're talking about? Okay, I wasn't certain. All right, but yeah, we'll have to try it.
Actually, if you mention the eye contact, David will say, "Well, there's a fire escape outside his window. If you can get eye contact that way."
Yeah, I can definitely get him to open the window, and we can easily get in there, and I can we can restrain him, and I can order him to drink, and then I can wipe his mind. But you did say he might have called some of his friends, so we might have to wait another night on this. What do you think?
Yeah. It might be important to have him see you leave. At the very least.
Right. Yeah, although I did say I lived in the building, so it probably wouldn't, he wouldn't think too much of it. He might actually be curious if I did leave the building.
That's a fair point.
So if there's a back exit, maybe in that case, we can just kind of sneak out and I don't know. I'm torn whether we try to do this tonight or wait and for a different night. Waiting is definitely safer, but if he looks into my story even a little bit, and he seems like he might be the type to do so, he's going to know I was lying, so he's going to be on high alert the rest of the week too, or whenever we come in.
He knew you were lying anyway.
Say again?
He knew you were lying anyway.
He definitely suspected. That is true. I did not pull off the gambit at all. Well, if he knew I was lying, then well, we'll keep him guessing, and we'll leave out the back, I guess, and work on it a following night, I guess.
I wish I was better at this face swapping thing. I'd have been able to put together a convincing persona.
Because I'll tell you what, my plan now is that if I can knock on the window, and even if he stares at me and pulls a gun on me, I can tell him, I can order him, you saw me do it once, I can order him to open the window up. And at that point, it would be both of us jumping on him and restraining him, and I would try to... Now, here's the thing. This is definitely a Grimith call here. I don't know if you can mesmerize while they're struggling like that. It would be difficult. You need calm. So
I think David could pretty easily put the kiss on him.
yeah, it would be easy to restrain him. It's just him yelling. I guess you could command him to be quiet.
Both the kindred and the target must be free from distraction, since mesmerize requires intense concentration and precise wording. If he's trying to throw a Nosferatu off of him, he cannot intensely concentrate.
Exactly. Right, so it's going to be command. I would have to command him to quiet, and then or calm or something like that.
So, of course, Byron has the opposite reel going through his head. What if he tries to command the guy, fails, or outright flubs it up so much that he begins shooting? I mean, he's a law enforcement officer. He's got his buddies. Someone's trying to break into his home. You totally threatened his life, man.
Well, yeah, well, definitely. It could happen. Byron's willing to take that chance.
It's only a gun. Come on.
Hey, he's got fortitude too. He can soak some stuff. So. Yeah.
If he bosses his combat role, I wouldn't make him blow your head off, right?
Well, I mean, that's just lethal damage to a vampire.
There you go.
So Byron and David leave and return to their respective havens. What do they do?
Well, what time is it now?
Good question. But let's see. Gotta spend some time thinking about the place. Had to go buy some stuff. Had the mouthwash ready. I'd say for you guys, you may be like in the 1 a.m. territory. You got hours.
Alright, well, in that case, I think that David's going to, go get the necessary materials to, further upgrade his warehouse a little bit. Put in some actual sheet metal over the windows. Maybe get some sort of light-tight container that he can hide in there to be his bed. Now that the place is a basic security system and power and stuff set up, David's actually going to want to start getting it ready for actual habitation.
Okay.
And he'll spend basically the entire night on that.
Alright, sounds perfectly reasonable enough to me. What about Byron? Is he gonna try to keep making his little tunnel?
Actually, he's going to go hunting because he used a few blood points there, so he's going to go hunt 3 times, I guess.
Alright, and
That's
that'll pretty much take care of the rest of his night, then.
Exactly.
So go ahead and make your hunting rolls now at difficulty 3. Well, you didn't botch or fail on those. That's good.
Yeah, that first one, there were a couple ones, and I was a little worried, actually.
Yep. Okay, so that's taken care of. That takes care of Byron's night. David's going to be filling about. I guess Joseph's going to be studying or reviewing or doing whatever he does, and basically wait for the goods and services to arrive and the exchange of money.
Yeah, he'll be looking over his notes, probably doing just normal day-to-day stuff, and then when that stuff comes, he'll slot his cred stick.
All right, in that case, I'm going to go ahead and take a 5-minute break here if you guys want to do something. When we return, we'll take a look at Marcus Paulson and what he's doing with Evelyn O'Malley's car.
The answer, driving it off a cliff.